everyone, I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is with a livestock tour rolling its way across Missouri right now, and he'll be joining us later on. Well, massive flooding has devastated many areas across the Midwest, killing at least 2 people and leaving thousands homeless. Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts called this the most widespread disaster we've had in our state's history. Farmers and ranchers were especially hard hit. Early numbers estimate the agricultural damage could total more than $3 billion in Nebraska and Iowa alone. Floodwaters drowned thousands of head of livestock and destroyed nearly $1 billion worth of grain in storage and livestock feed from Nebraska to Missouri. In most cases, flood-damaged grain cannot be used in food or livestock production. Many farmers store grain on their farms after harvest while waiting for commodity prices to rise, and a loss of grain means a loss of income for them. In a test vote on Tuesday, the Senate overwhelmingly supported a $13.5 billion disaster bill that includes flood aid for the Northern Plains and Western Corn Belt. USDA Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue says the damage comes at a time when farmers are already struggling from a tough farm economy. The National Weather Service warns that as the snowpack continues to melt, the worst may be yet to come, and risks aren't limited to the Midwest. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, nearly 2/3 of the country is at risk of flooding through May. About half of those states face the potential for major or moderate flooding from the Missouri and Mississippi rivers. As the flooding risk rises and flows further south, Louisiana residents are bracing for a disaster that we know all too well. Louisiana farmers and ranchers have joined the relief efforts to help those suffering from damage in the Midwest. Tri-Parish Co-op in Slaughter, Louisiana is accepting donations to send up north to ranchers in need. Here are some of the items ranchers in Nebraska desperately need: molasses protein tubs, range cubes, sweet feed, Red Brand 12.5 gauge barbed wire, and T-post. They are also accepting cash donations. Tri-Parish Co-op is located at 1080 Highway 19 in Slaughter, Louisiana, and will have a flatbed trailer loaded with donations ready to depart for Nebraska on April 2nd. So get your donations in before then. Tri-Parish Co-op staff say they have completely filled one trailer already and are working to fill a second one that a local farmer has offered to bring to Nebraska.
They've lost so much, and it's not going to take more than a week, more than a month. It's going to take years to reestablish what they have lost. The devastation is unreal. We had the floodwaters, but they also had the ice and all of that, and they've had to wait for all of that to thaw before the waters will even recede. And underneath the floodwaters, you also have decaying animals, and just their whole life is underwater, and we've been there. So we definitely know how they feel, and we would love to pay it back.
Other state organizations like the Nebraska Farm Bureau have also organized relief programs, and we posted a link to some of those on our website at twilatv.org. The state of Missouri has more than 50,000 beef cattle ranches, and ag economists there estimate that 40% of the state's economy is generated by agriculture. So why are we talking so much about Missouri? Well, that's because that's where we'll find TWILA's Avery Davidson.
Kristen, I'm about to make you jealous because I am at J.K. Moore Ranch in Mount Vernon, Missouri, where they have 50,000 head of cattle come through this operation. It's a preconditioning operation that comes through every year. Jackie Moore, the owner, says that he buys 1,000 head of cattle and begins them preconditioning here. And obviously he has to sell about 1,000 head of cattle every week, and they're going to go to feed yards, or they're going to go for more conditioning when they leave this operation. Now, how is he able to do that? Well, he also happens to own one of the largest cattle auction barns in the country, the Joplin Stockyards. And we're going to show you a little bit of that next week whenever I actually put together the piece from this trip. So why am I in Missouri? That's because I am on the 2019 Louisiana Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Committee Beef Tour. Every year, the Livestock Advisory Committee says, let's go outside of the state of Louisiana. Let's see what people are doing elsewhere and what we can do to make a better steak to go on your plate from out of Louisiana. So obviously this is a week-long tour with about 35 cattle producers from across Louisiana. You're going to hear from them next week. In the meantime, I'm going to go catch up with the tour group and see what else is going on here at J.K. Moore Ranch. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Avery Davidson. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Avery. I'm sure we'll see some of my favorite cattle, Angus cattle, in your story next week. Well, it's easy to think of alligators when you think of Louisiana, but do you also think of agriculture? This week, Neil Melanson shows us an unusual agriculture industry with some beautiful results.
In the 1990s, the ratite industry was hot in this neck of the woods near Clinton, Louisiana. That's using exotic birds like ostrich and emus. The cages that once held ostriches are empty now, but one man is still in business.
That's a nice little clutch purse.
Marco Dermody was once an ostrich farmer and still uses them to make beautiful purses like these. After the ratite industry collapsed, though, Marco knew he had to find something else to do.
Most of the farmers that were in the ostrich business, the market has changed from a breeder market to a slaughter market, and most people didn't know what to do with with the bird. And fortunately, I was able to. Was in the restaurant business at one time, so I was able to sell my meat. And then we were, then we transitioned into the leather.
He works with his niece Sarah, who is helping Marco keep the business in the 21st century.
I answer emails, phone calls, texts. We deal with the website, any purchases.
One thing that is traditional is their use of Louisiana alligator skins. They're a 100% Louisiana material used in everything from boots, belts, wallets, and more. Dermody works with local suppliers to make sure Acadian leather stays true to its name.
Mostly we work with, some mostly trappers, because we buy a lot of wild alligator skins, and also some from the farmers that we buy from. And we also export skins. And we kept some for ourselves to make other products.
Marco never quite got into raising alligators himself, but he does cure them here on the farm. Inside his barn, he keeps the skins both cool and salted to prevent deterioration. Different size skins are used for different products, including this monster.
Okay, this is a 9-foot alligator.
From that rough start to the finished product is where Acadian leather shines. While they do sell pre-made products, Marco's specialty is custom-made products, such as these boots, which can be made not only with different colors, but different parts of the skin. It all comes together to make a unique Louisiana legend.
Everybody wants something different, so we do, make alligator boots and shoes and belts and wallets, but everybody wants something specifically, something different. So they want something like a square toe, we can make a square toe. If we want a cowboy heel, we can make a cowboy heel. Some people want a different top on their boot, either engraved or embroidered. We can do that also.
And all of those products you saw Acadian Leather makes can be found online. And of course, we'll show you where to get them on our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, of course, what we couldn't show you is all the custom products that they make. And they will just do everything, whether it's color or style or even parts of the birds or alligators that you want to use. They'll just do it all.
Well, I'm truly jealous because those look like some beautiful pieces. But you know what I'm going to ask you.
What did I bring you?
What did you bring me? You couldn't bring me a purse or a pair of boots or anything.
I didn't have your shoe size, so that's why I couldn't do the custom boots for you.
You could text. Just a text away.
Did you like the purses or the boots better?
I do like a good purse, but boots are truly unique. So
yeah, they are. And what I thought was cool was, they've got like the parts of the back of the alligator, which are really a very different style than the belly of it, which is a lot smoother.
It is. So what did you get to take home?
What did I get? Well, I got a little alligator money clip. It's magnetized. It's really, really nice. Marco was kind enough to give me one for free, so that was kind of neat. So I brought me home something.
Oh, okay. Well, the next time you go, I would like a belt.
Okay.
I'll send you my size later.
All right, will do.
Neil Melanson, what an excellent story. Thanks. Well, showing livestock teaches youth how to be the best of the best, but it's not all about the shiny trophies, purple ribbons, or sparkling belt buckles. It takes numerous hours in the barn with endless daily chores of feeding, washing, and exercising these cattle, not to mention plenty of blood, sweat, and tears to raise a champion animal. While not every individual will go home with a trophy in hand, every showman gains responsibility, sportsmanship, and self-confidence, traits that will grow champions both in and out of the show ring. That's why the Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers hold a youth livestock show each year. This show brings young people from across Louisiana to showcase their livestock in the ring. And this year's show will be held in Alexandria at the LSU Ag Center's DeWitt Livestock Facility. Registration and check-in will begin at 4 p.m. on April 12th, and the show will conclude on the 13th. Well, last week, 5 parish farm bureaus hosted the Northwest Louisiana Sporting Clays Shootout. This is the 8th consecutive year for them to host this event to raise money for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Foundation scholarships and Louisiana Ag in the Classroom. More than 100 shooters traveled to Las Palomas Sporting Range in Benton. Louisiana Farm Bureau District 1 State Board member Marty Woolridge says this event is all about raising up the next generation of Farm Bureau leaders.
By us having these type of events, not only our Sporting Clay Challenge here, but like our calf show in the spring that our YF&R committee does, you know, we're getting in front of those 4-H and FFA kids every year and showing them what Farm Bureau is about and how Farm Bureau works in our community to give back to our community and our agricultural community specifically. These are our future members. These are our future leadership that we're starting to develop right here by having this outreach program every year.
The 5 parishes that host this amazing fundraiser are Caddo, Bossier, Claiborne, DeSoto, and Red River. This year's event raised more than $12,000 for foundation scholarships and Ag in the Classroom. If you would like to be a part of another event supporting these same great causes, Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish Farm Bureaus will host their popular fishing rodeo in June. To learn more, head on over to our website at twilatv.org. North Louisiana farmers are finally getting a chance to get in their fields to plant this year's crops. TWILA's Tammy Arender traveled to Morehouse Parish to learn how the extremely wet fall and winter had many farmers worried they wouldn't get their corn planted in time.
In this Marouge area, we didn't get 2 rains last week. Last week, our neighbors to the north got 2 more rains, so they're still wet.
Dan Turner is a lifelong farmer in Morehouse Parish. He grows corn, cotton, soybeans, and occasionally rice. He's excited to be in the cab of his tractor, finally planting corn.
This time last year I was 3.
What's that telling you?
It's telling me how many seed are planting, how close they are together.
The extremely wet fall and winter has hampered farmers' field prep and now planting. Turner is planting more corn this year since soybean prices are low.
We're roughly 400,000 acres of corn in the state of Louisiana. We could see some pickup from corn if everybody's able to get it planted where they're coming off of soybeans, maybe into corn and cotton.
Unusual part of this is it's been raining since really harvest time. And it's not allowed a lot of the farmers to get back into the field and do their field work to get ready for it. And it seems like it's all coming at one time, but they seem to handle it well. And again, the sun's out and everybody is back in the field and it looks like we're going to get it planted this year.
So most farmers in Louisiana don't want to plant corn past April 10th. So for the farmers who've not been able to get in their fields to even till the ground, have just a small window left before they'll have to go to Plan B. For once, it's good to be left in the dust, meaning fields are dry enough to handle the equipment. And for Dan, he's optimistic this will be a good year, and he can continue to do the work he loves.
We've just always done it, and it really is pleasurable occupation when things go good.
In Marouge, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Turner says he also plans to plant more cotton this year, and to ensure that commitment, he recently purchased a cotton picker for the first time in several years. Farmers planting corn aren't the only ones taking advantage of the sunny skies. Crawfish farmers are seeing an increase in the catch as their ponds warm up. This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers traveled to Vermilion Parish to get an update on the crawfish season that had a slow start.
Alan McLean is a busy man in March. He's got rice to plant, crawfish to catch, and a catering business to keep up with as well. McLean says the slow start to crawfish season is finally picking up.
Crawfish in general have started off extremely slow this year. The weather early in the season, crawfish needed sun like everybody else. We finally are getting some better weather. The sun and the warmer temperatures, the crawfish are really moving now. The size is terrific, a lot better than what it was earlier in the year. The prices are coming down. People are really calling and asking for more crawfish.
McLean says the dropping price and the rising catch almost offset with the increased consumption during Lent, which usually signifies the peak of the season.
Within the next few weeks, you will be in the peak of crawfish season now through Lent and even into April and past whenever after Easter. Crawfish are going to be very abundant and just getting better and better.
With crawfish more abundant, now is the time to build a relationship with a local farmer to supply you and your family for your next crawfish boil.
If people would like to get crawfish, all they have to do is reach out to me or to their local producers in their area. I mean, this is one of the main things where you can almost guarantee farm to table.
Reporting from Abbeville, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
And as we get closer to that peak time, the prices for crawfish should continue to drop. Again, it's a great idea to build a relationship with a farmer like McLean to get the freshest crawfish for the best price. If you can't make it out to a nearby farm, that's okay, because here in Louisiana, we have plenty of places to go find some great Louisiana crawfish. The prices have dropped for live crawfish, but the boiled prices are about the same as last week. Looking around the state, Tony's Seafood in Baton Rouge has them for $3.69 a pound live, while boiled runs $4.89 per pound, about 10 cents cheaper than a week ago. Heads or Tails in Lake Charles has them for $3 a pound even, while boiled are going for $5.25 a pound. In Lafayette, the Blue Crawfish Company are selling live crawfish for $3.80 per pound, and you can get them boiled for $5.70. As always, be sure to check the Crawfish app for the best prices each day. Prices typically will update closer to the weekend. And wherever you buy them, the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board reminds you to ask before you eat. Still to come on TWILA, we'll try to lift your spirits about the flooding in the Midwest. But first, we will see how women are learning to grow their careers in agriculture. Stay with us. The Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference was held last week in Alexandria. As TWILA's Tammy Arender reports, it's designed to encourage and empower women to find their place in what has traditionally been a man's world.
It just allows you to walk in the pathway so you don't have to be walking right behind.
A demonstration of farm tools by women for women at Enola Farms in Tensas Parish kicks off the Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference. For Cindy Murphy of Baton Rouge, a retired school teacher, was an opportunity for hands-on experience and what she hopes is a new career in agriculture.
I mean, I love playing in the dirt. I love being outside, and what, not all women belong inside, I think there's a place for us outside as well.
There hasn't always been a lot of support for women in farming, and now we're at a place where even our tractors and implements are being designed to make them more accessible for women. But also, there's more female landowners in the U.S. than there are male landowners.
To these cell bars where the bees can raise them into queen bees.
The tour also included a demonstration by Amy Weeks of West Monroe, a beekeeper hoping to create an interest in her occupation. Weeks says women make great beekeepers.
As far as queen rearing goes, we actually have really good fine motor skills, so women tend to be really good at it.
Another highlight was seeing the high tunnel operation operated by Ann and Chris Mills. With help from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, the mills basically have a year-round growing operation. Brenda Archer with the Rapide Soil and Conservation District says the biggest takeaway from this conference is giving women the knowledge and encouragement to get their hands dirty.
Encourage each other to learn the practices from each other, and also to build each other up, get ideas from each other, and just empower each other.
There are 26,000 farms in Louisiana, and 3,500 of those are primarily operated by women. In waterproof Louisiana, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference was sponsored by Roy O. Martin, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and many more. To learn about this conference, you can visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, each week you can see Louisiana agriculture right here on TWILA. However, at the upcoming Ag Magic, you can also touch, taste, and feel it as well. The LSU Ag Center puts on the event each year, providing an interactive experience for children of all ages. This year's event will be on April 8th through the 12th from 8:30 a.m. to noon for school groups and open to the general public on April 13th and 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Ag Magic will be at Parker Coliseum on LSU's Baton Rouge campus near the south gates of campus. Schools must register their groups online, but the event is free. School groups can also order ice cream by calling the LSU Ag Center Dairy Store at 225-578-4392. Each group will need to make arrangements to pick up their products from the store. If you can't make it to Baton Rouge, there will be similar events in Violet, Louisiana on May 7th to the 11th and in Shreveport on October 24th to November 10th at the State Fair there. We'll have all this information on our website for you to check out at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, we hope to leave you with a smile with this week's TWILA Boost. Stay with us. This week we're ending the show the same way that we began, talking about the flooding disasters in the Midwest. But hopefully this story will give us a much needed boost. A good friend of mine, Courtney Dehoff, shared this video that she created to help spread the word about the devastating situation happening right now in the Midwest. Courtney always does a great job of bringing light to ag-related issues that the national media often overlooks, while showcasing the resilient spirit of the American farmer and rancher.
When the evacuation calls come in, they stay right where they are. When the floods and snow bear down with relentless rage, they go in. Yet it's another story that won't be told. The national media doesn't consider it trending, so it won't make the 6 o'clock news.
It's kind of scary, honestly. If you have a heart for an animal, this is hard to see and hard to deal with.
Across the Midwest, ranchers have been battling Mother Nature with everything they have, fighting to keep their babies alive. From Colorado, South Dakota to Kansas and Nebraska, blizzard conditions and horrific flooding have wreaked havoc on America's ranches.
On this one ranch alone, there are 16,000 head of cattle. With many baby calves ready to be born, this storm comes at the worst time of the year.
This is really what sucks, is getting this kind of weather right now. Can you imagine being born out in this and no protection?
In states like Nebraska, ranchers are still fighting to keep as many of their beloved animals alive as possible, but the devastating effects of this storm are already being felt. The photos are soul-crushing. Despite tireless efforts from ranchers, Mother Nature was just far too relentless to save them all. The state of Nebraska is all but gone in some areas. Homes, livestock, and livelihoods now floating across the plains. Apocalyptic-looking icebergs littering their hay pastures. The scene is grim and threatens one of the largest food-producing states in the country. Agriculture, a $6.5 billion industry in Nebraska alone. But it's possible you didn't even know that this was happening.
There'll be some death loss in this. I mean, there could be hundreds in the valley right here that die.
A state like Nebraska is considered a flyover state by national media outlets. Just one of the many unimportant states you fly over when going between New York and Los Angeles. What the mainstream media doesn't realize is that these stories of survival are beating heart stories that inspire and empower. They are the stories that restore your faith in humanity. It's the Nebraska State Patrol stopping to save a calf frozen to the ground. The neighbor next door racing to help when his own livelihood is being destroyed down the road. It's a rancher, a dad, risking his life to provide what little feed he can carry to his freezing cattle. They are stories of heartbreak, but if history proves us right, they will someday be stories of resilience. These men and women are survivors. They're heroes. They embody the American spirit, and today we share their story. Share it with your friends, and have them share it with their friends. And please pray for them. Pray for the ranchers across multiple states who haven't endured a hard winter.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week to see what Avery learned on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Beef Tour in Missouri. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below. That really helps us out. Also, please subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all things Louisiana agriculture that we cover here at TWILA. Also, check out this video right here, and we'll see you on to the next one. Thanks.